Good morning. I am going to present my video number 2 for the lesson number 2. For the informative data, the name of the school, it does not apply. The theme for this lesson is going to be present simple, questions and short answers. The date is November 6, 2020. The grade is first of baccalaureate. The class length will be 45 minutes. The proficiency level is for elementary A2 to CEFR. The lesson plan designer is me, Laura Salazar Vitei. The TEFL objectives for this class. During this lesson, the student will be able to, for listening, identify and follow instructions as well as listening to their partner questions. For speaking, compare, ask and answer their own questions. For reading, read and understand a script to complete information missing. For writing, construct their own questions about specific times and writing short answers. The methods that I use for this lesson will be audiolingual method, total physical response, direct method, and task-based language learning. The strategies that I use are set realistic expectations and goals, speak slowly, use differentiation, whole class work, pair work, and individual work. In the anticipatory set, I will talk about study habits, what to do before an exam, what not to do, how to be a successful student, how to plan for your studies, the goal of studying, reviewing notes, to get rid of the distractions, among other things. So I am going to talk a little bit about how students need to study, about their study habits. For the main teaching input, for the warm-up activity, teacher will give the students a pop quiz, a really easy about general things that they already know. When they finish, the teacher will ask the students, are you good at the exams? Do you worry about exams? Do you study a lot for an exam? Students answer the questions and they're going to have a little discussion of that questions for a few minutes. A teacher shows students how present simple questions and short answers work. Teacher writes 3 jumbo questions on the board and asks students to put them in order. These are the 3 jumbo questions that I will write on the board. Anna busy is, a nurse is Jack, students they are. So the students need to put these 3 jumbo questions in order. A teacher asks the students the questions and elicit the answers. Teacher go back to the questions and tell students those are questions with B. So the teacher points out that the 3 jumbo questions, after they put it in order, teacher is going to read those questions and point out that those questions are with B. Teacher writes 3 more questions and tells students to see which questions are in present simple. So they need to decide orally what questions are in present simple. So in here, we're going to work as a whole class. Teacher writes 4 questions on the board and asks the students to order the phrases to make questions. So this part, they are going to copy the questions on their notebook and they are going to order the phrases to make them as questions. Then when they finish this activity, teacher gives the students a worksheet to complete. This worksheet is about present simple, questions and short answers. So as you can see here, in the first part, they need to put the words in order to complete the questions. So they have like the question, the words that they are going to use on top, but they have to put them in order to form questions. In the part B, they have to complete the sentences with do, does, don't, or doesn't. So they have to complete each sentence with the corresponding word that they have in there. For part C, use the words in brackets to write complete present simple questions. So they have to decide, they have the words in there and they have to complete for present simple questions. When they finish this, Oh, while they're doing, teacher walks around checking students' understanding and assisting students when necessary. Teacher and students check the answers, asking students to explain their answers. Students write questions about a specific times, then they need to write short answers. So students is going to ask students to write questions about a specific times. A teacher gives an example of that questions. For example, what time do you go to bed on the weekends? That is a question, and they need to write short answers. So they need to write questions and write short answers. In pairs, students need to compare the times they wrote down and try to make sentences using the information. In the same pairs, the student asks and answers the questions they wrote. Teacher, in the meanwhile, will be monitoring and only interrupt if the students make mistakes with the present simple forms. So the teacher don't want to interrupt the fluency while they're talking, but it is important to correct the mistakes in the time it happens. So only when they're not using the present simple forms, when they are doing some mistakes in that part. Teacher and students conclude the class by reviewing the topic briefly. For the modeling, the examples teacher gives at the beginning of the class and during the class, and the answers to the exercise will provide students with clear contextualized models, which will show students correct form and examples of use in context. This is very important. That way students are going to be sure that they are doing good in all the activities they are doing. For the guided practice, students put in order some jumbled sentences. Students identify which questions are in present simple. Students put in order the phrases to make questions. Students complete a worksheet of present simple questions and short answers where they need to put the words in order to complete the questions, complete the sentences with do, does, don't, or doesn't, and complete present simple questions with words that are missing. For all of these activities, a teacher walks around the class to monitor. At the end of each activity, they check the answers with the whole group. For the independent practice, students write questions about specific times. Then they need to write short answers. For example, what time do you go to bed on the weekends? In pairs, students need to compare the times they wrote down and try to make sentences using that information. For example, I go to bed at 11:30 on the weekends. In the same pairs, student ask and answer the questions they wrote. Teacher monitor and only interrupt the fluency if the students make mistakes with the present simple forms. For the assessment, teacher gives a script to students. They need to complete the information missing. So this is the script that the teacher is going to give them. So they need to read it, and then they need to complete the information that is missing. So she's also going to give them a piece of paper with different questions, and they need to answer that questions. Teacher read the questions and ask, how are they different and why? Teacher checks that the students see the difference of does and do. That is very important, so they can actually know the difference between does and do. When do we use does and when do we use do? For the closer review and follow-up, the class will be concluded by reviewing the topic briefly. And for homework, the students need to write sentences to summarize their discussion. For example, Tanya watches Friends because she loves it. Okay, so and the next day they have to check the homework and if they have any questions about the topic. Thank you.